Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday Live. My name is Ashley Hay. I'm a mixed media artist and I'm here today to talk to you about some more bottled art. So, of course, for the last month, we've been having a bit of an altered bottle art challenge on the Facebook page, which has been awesome. So I've seen a few bottles coming through, which has been lovely to see with different versions of things. So we've had bottle ladies and we've had a beautiful seahorse sea-themed bottle and a few quirky birds, which has been awesome to see you guys be inspired by the Fridays. So welcome everyone and thank you for joining me, and please make sure that you ask any questions if you've got any. And of course today we're going to be having a look at a bit of a bunny bottle, because can you believe that Easter is already just around the corner? I feel like we've just had Christmas and we're already nearly at the end of February and going into March, which is just absolutely insane. So anyway, while we were on the theme of the bottles, I thought it would be fabulous to actually introduce the bottle bunny and just start looking at that. Hey and welcome. Okay, so I'll show you what we've got here. So we've got my bunny here. Now, this was a bunny that I did when Christy Marga Malcolms came to the studio, and she did some of her beautiful bottle animals with us. And she just is an amazing artist and does some really, really gorgeous stuff. So she's on Facebook, so you can look her up and follow her. I'll put the link in the comments so that you can find her work. But yeah, he's just gorgeous. Everyone had such a fun day that day. We've made a few different things with Christy, and of course, recycling a bottle is just absolutely brilliant. Hey Donna, lovely to see you. And excellent. So you're going to be making a bottle bunny as well. So that's awesome. And of course, we're going to be doing some Easter themed ones. So hey Robin, lovely to see you here as well. All right. So what I wanted to say was that I'm pretty excited, because for those of you who are in WA, Christy is actually coming back to the studio to do another bottle bunny with us for Easter. So that is going to be on the 2nd of April, just in time for Easter, to make something for a present for someone, or as just something fun to have around the house. So keep a lookout for that one. The event is up. But of course, if you're not able to get to the studio, that's why I do these, and you can actually have a go at home yourself. So yes, Natalie's just saying it's Chris Art. Thanks for putting that link in the comments, Natalie. That's awesome. So wonderful. So I've got a bunny that I've started here as well. So this one was actually, the first one I showed you is actually done with yellow ochre. This one is obviously done with the bluish grey, which is really, really gorgeous. And you can see he's a bit bigger. So it just depends on what size bottle that you actually use. So I've got a couple here that I thought I'd show you. So this one is like a soda water, sparkling water bottle, and it's quite a bit larger, and that's the one that he was actually made on. So you can see how the form of the bottle will actually create part of the form of the bunny. So you want to find a bottle that actually works for the form that you're going to work with. Yeah, Natalie's just saying that Christy's design and artwork are absolutely brilliant, and that she wishes she could come and do a class with her. Yeah, she is really awesome. And so if you are here in WA, take advantage of the fact she's going to be coming to the studio here. So I think really the real key thing to really getting a beautiful piece is to really pay attention to details. And I was saying that last week as well. But really, when you're doing the forming, it's really, really important to take the time to really create the form well, get that form right, and then you've got a really good base to actually work onto. So with this little one, this little guy, he is a little bit smaller than the other one, and he's been made on one of those drinking, you know, the little like lemon, lime and bitters bottles. So you can see again how that form is determined by the actual bottle shape. So keep an eye out for interesting bottles, because you'll be amazed what you can do with them, especially if you're starting to get into some quirky things and design some different types of birds or animals yourself. So Robin's just saying, is it better to use plastic bottles or glass? Robin, you could use either. I usually do fill them 3/4 full with some sand as well, just to give them a little bit of weight. So make sure that you do that. And especially if you're using a plastic bottle, then make sure that you are really weighting it down with some sand too, because obviously it's lighter, it's just going to topple over. So great question. Yeah, so Donna, I think I answered your question too. And yes, absolutely. So weigh down the plastic bottles. But aren't there some fantastic shapes in plastic bottles? You imagine some of those detergent bottles that actually have the curvy forms on them. Wouldn't they be superb for creating something? Hey, Mariana, lovely to see you here. Okay, so we're going to get cracking. Now, today I really just want to give you some tips and tricks for forming and shaping and joining things. Because like I say, that attention to detail in the forming is actually what is going to make a real difference to your piece and really elevate the level of your sculptures. If you pay attention to detail all along the way, and you play with different textures and you finish it off really well, you're going to end up with some just gorgeous artwork. So you can't go wrong. That is one of the wonderful things with the Powertex, is that it does make creating art easy, and it's just so easy in terms of the process, because all we're going to use is a bottle, wire, masking tape, alfoil, and that's about it. Styrofoam balls. So let's have a look. So I don't know what that means, BAM red, but we'll go down here and I'll just bring up a little bit of, so what I've got here is I've just shaped a couple of shapes into what could be wings for a quirky bird, or they could be very small rabbit ears for a rabbit. So essentially, whether you were making ears or whether you were making, you know, wings, it would be the same sort of process. But one of the key things is this bit here. So actually leaving part of it so that you can actually join it onto whatever you're actually joining to. So you can see there how I can actually use that lip of that wire to actually really ensure that the form is really tight onto there, and it's not going to come off. So however you do it, that is the main thing, is that you don't just create just the shape, but you actually have like a joining area where it can actually join together. Natasha, wonderful. So she's just saying that she's so excited for this one. So Tash, I was saying before about Christy coming to the studio, if you can get down here for the 2nd of April, you would love this workshop, but you can make one at home too. Okay, so you can see how straight away that would give you a bit of form to be able to attach to whatever you're joining it to, because you've got those excess wires. Now, all I've done is I've just got some masking tape. Oh, I'm knocking my bunny over here, poor thing. So I've just got some masking tape. I've got a little bit of that. I've just popped a little bit onto there. Now, I can choose how tightly I want to close that together. So I could totally pinch it together, or I can leave it with a little bit of width. So that just means that this area here where it's joining onto the sculpture will either be really, really thin, or it will be a little bit wider. So because I want it a little bit wider than pointy where it joins, I'm just going to give it a little bit of width and just simply tag that over the top there. And then I just get a piece of alfoil. Now I've got some bits here that were just offcuts from the other day, so they're not torn into any particular way. And I'm just going to cut that off so that it is more square. And then I'm just going to use the wire. Now with this, you can actually use galvanized wire from the hardware store, and that will actually be really firm. This is aluminium wire. It is brilliant for actually making armatures. So it comes in two widths. It comes in the 3 mils or the 1.75 mil thickness, and both sizes are really, really handy to have in your kit. Now, alternatively, you can strip down electrical wire. Of course, your normal electrical wire has like a width of plastic. You just strip that off, and then you've got about 3 cords of plastic within that that look about this thickness. So you can use that as well. When you strip the electrical wire, if you then strip that last bit that is this thickness, you'll find there's a whole lot of copper wire inside, which is just gorgeous to work with as well. So if you want to recycle your wire and find wire, then that is perfect for doing that. All right, but I do love this armature wire, and I know Natalie's got that at Bag End Studios in Queensland, and it's also on the Powertex Australia website as well if you do want some armature wire. So I'm just pulling this around and just wrapping it a bit like a present. So when I do this, what I want to do is I definitely want to get into that wire and just really make sure that the shape is following the form of the wire that I've already created, especially if I want it to, to be like the shape of the wire. So there we go. So that's nice and firm around there. And then I just get my tape and I'm just going to tape over all of that. I can use some thicker tape to cover it more quickly if I want to. And then I just, sorry, there's a truck going past for some reason. Oh, it's coming in here. Yay. Sorry guys, there might be a bit of background noise for a minute. There's not usually a truck on a Friday morning, so anyway, maybe just duck out and see if they can turn the engine off while we're out there. I'm just sending someone out to see if he can just have a word to the driver. So Tash is just saying, oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah, it will be awesome, Tash. And then on the Sunday, I'm actually doing a barley workshop as well. So, yeah. All right. So I'll just pretend you can't hear me and I'll show you. So we've got this bit and we've got this bit. So there we go. The truck is off. Many thanks to David. So David's here helping me with the filming today. And so nice to be able to ask him to duck out and have a chat to the driver. So thanks. That's what happens when things are live. You can't plan for it, right? Now, if you notice with this bottle, see how all the tape is sort of coming away? That's because the bottle has been lying and it's been taped for a while, and so it's just all come a bit loose. So I would just be retaping some of that. The other thing that you will find is sometimes when you get the tape, you will find that it's not very sticky and it's not very nice. So it is definitely worth getting masking tape that is of good quality. Otherwise, you'll find that it will just simply come away. It just acts like paper. It doesn't adhere as well, and it just comes off. So you definitely want a tape that is going to stick on. And so once you find one that's nice and sticky, stick with it. Okay. So now that I've got this, so let's say we're going back to the quirky bird from last week. If I wanted to put a wing on it, I would just simply tape that on there. Now, the real key thing is when I'm doing that is, I just might move it up a little bit, up to maybe there. So I'll just quickly show you. I like to tear off a number of pieces of tape. My styrofoam ball's rolling away here, and I forgot to get my toothpicks, but that doesn't matter. So let's say I decide I want to put it there. When I tape it on, what is really important is to make sure that I'm going, so this piece here is just holding it in place. Then I want to go really around all of those joins so that I'm not just taping it across one way, I'm actually taping it in several directions. And see how this has a gap in it? So on this, in this instance, you're not really going to see it there, but you're a lot better if you can cover up any of those little sort of gaps and holes and things along the way. I do like to tear a number of pieces of tape off, so it makes it easy for me to just be able to grab and stick them down. So you can see how now that is joined really, really, really well. So when we do our first layer of Powertex, which of course the Powertex universal medium is going to harden the tape, it's going to stick it all down really well, and then you won't have these problems. So you do want to make sure though that the tape, and this is a really top tip, is make sure that the tape is really stuck down well. Otherwise, the Powertex will go in underneath the tape and the tape will lift. So you do want to make sure that you've covered all the joins, paid attention, gone in different directions like I've just shown you to attach that. So Tash is just saying that on glass she uses plaster sheets that doctors use for broken bones. It gives a great texture as well. Absolutely. So plaster bandage is absolutely gorgeous to work with, and you can create gorgeous texture with that and then allow it to dry and then paint it with your Powertex and you'll get a really beautiful surface. So that is, yeah, if you've got access to stashes of plaster bandage, it's definitely lovely to use both on your sculptures and your paintings. Okay, so let's say I was going to create ears on this. So it's exactly the same way as what I've just shown you to actually join the wing onto the bottle. So you would just do it exactly the same way with that little bit of excess going onto there. Now, what is really, really, really nice is to think about the different tilt of the head. So let's take a look at this little guy and I'll talk you through some of what's been happening here. Now, you can see that the tape on this is a little bit rough and ready. I actually formed this one in the car while I was travelling, and so he isn't as good as if I'd done him on a table, because I could have sat him down, but he's still pretty good, and by the time I put the textures on him, he's going to look amazing. So of course, what I'm going to play with next week is I'll show you how you can do some beautiful textural effects on this, but I just wanted you to get up to speed with some of the forming and what I've done here. So once I have created the form, I've just used a bit of grey Powertex and I've put a sprinkle of Easy 3D Flex onto the top of the grey Powertex, mixed it up, and then I've painted this layer with that. So that has given me a slightly thicker layer of Powertex than just the Powertex itself, and it has given me a better coating, and the 3D Flex is really gorgeous for just making it a bit more viscous and thicker, and will give you better coverage on your sculpture. So I think he's only got one coat, and then, you know, it's up to you. You can actually do a couple of coats on the form. Now, just in relation, if we have a look at what I was just talking about then, in particular with the joins. So this is just alfoil rolled into a shape, and then it's taped up before I put it onto the bottle, so that I'm not trying to tape everything as I go. And then all I've got to deal with when I'm actually doing, putting it on here, is I've just got to deal with this join. And you can see how there is no holes anywhere here where it's been joined. So like I was showing you before, I've gone in different directions with the tape there to really make sure that those joins are really strong, and also actually treat the tape as if it is a sculpting medium. So rather than just in your head thinking, I'm using the tape to stick something down, which would be the traditional use of it, think about your wire, alfoil and masking tape as the sculptural form, so that it's actually a sculpting medium. So how easy is it to form things with a bit of styrofoam, wire and masking tape to get some form? Now this here is just a bunch of alfoil rolled up into a shape. You can also use a half a styrofoam ball for that, and then just add some more alfoil on. And then this is just alfoil here, and it's all just covered with masking tape. But what is really key is really taking the time. Sorry, I'm just reading Robin's comment there. She's just saying, I'm sure, Ashley, your favourite word is viscous. Yes, I do love that word. It just describes it so well, Robin. But if we have a look in here, this is really, really important. It's really important to take the time to really join those joins like I just showed you with that bit that I added on, and really get into all the different angles. So look at your sculpture from different angles. Look at it from underneath. You can see even underneath it hasn't got any holes in it. It's all been taped, and all I do to actually ensure it's pushed in tight is I actually use a sculpture tool when I can't get into little bits, and I don't use my finger all the time. So I just get a piece of tape and I run it halfway down, and then I just push in with my tool, which is much easier than trying to get in with my big fat finger. So you can see that on all of these joins, it's been taped pretty well. So there's no holes left around where you can see that it's just a shape that's been added on. His little face is just a styrofoam ball, and then when you put the face onto the sculpture, you can make him look different. So you can give him a lot of character, you can give him expression just by the angle and the tilt of the face. So with this one, you can see that he is, hang on, I'll hold him up here next to me and you can see him up here. So you can see with him, his little face is more going like this. Whereas with, I've got a similar expression, he's going more, what's happening out there? So you can make them look curious, you can make them look sad, you can make them look curious again, happy, just by the tilt and the angle of the face. So what I will be showing you next week is I'll be showing you how to get some features onto here. So we'll actually use some stone art clay next week to actually form onto here. But before I go there, all he's got is a styrofoam ball. He's got a couple of little chubby cheeks here, which you could just use alfoil, or you could use half a smaller styrofoam ball if you wanted. But he's just basically formed with his little nose here is formed with a bit of alfoil scrunched and a bit of alfoil here, his little brows, and just bringing up his shape and his form so that everything doesn't have to be built with the clay. If you want to ensure that you are getting value out of your products, do forming like this so that you get the basic form that then you can add on to, and it gives you essentially the basis for what you need to do. So just quickly before we go, I will show you how you can add the styrofoam ball onto the top of here. How are we going for time? Oh, we're a little bit late. But I'll talk you through it because I want this to be another little quirky bird, but I want him to have a little bit of a neck. So we might just cut a little bit of wire off of here. If I was doing the rabbit's head would sit directly onto the top of here and be formed onto the neck of the bottles. That's how this one is. Whereas with this, what I want is I want the neck to actually come out a bit, and I might actually just get some of this scrap alfoil. We'll quickly wrap some of that up, scrunch and wrap. Okay, throw the ball on there. It's a very wobbly neck, but never mind. So what I will do is I might put that there, and then I can give him maybe a little bit of a bowie. Let's go. What do I want to do? Okay, we can just do something like that, just briefly. And then I've got a more, a larger piece of alfoil here, which I can just basically take over the top of this and wrap that onto that form. So if I was joining it to the top of the bottle, that's essentially what I do there, is just take that alfoil over the top of that ball. But I would have already formed his little nosy bit and maybe even his cheeks, so that when it's put onto the bottle, it's there. Now what I need to do is I need to build up the form where I want it to be thicker. So if we take a look here, I want to fill in this part of the bottle here. So let me just show you that from the side so you can see what I'm talking about. So if I take this onto the bottle here and make it nice and secure, before I do that, I want to just add some alfoil into here. So I can just literally get it and scrunch it into the shape that I sort of want to create there. And you can see that's already wanting to sit on there, so we can just sit that on there. Take that in place. And you can see now I can just start to work that. But before I do that, I will definitely make sure that this is stuck down really, really well. Like I did with that little wing before. So that's not going anywhere while I'm building it now. And then I can just get some more alfoil. I can fold, I can scrunch, I can shape. Oh, Robin, you're funny. Robin's just saying I've got beautiful crafty fingers. That's so funny. Okay, so see how that now has extended that neck up, and then I can still shape and put the head where I want it to be. So if I want it to have a little bit of a bowie bend, I can, put it right down. So the bird might have his beak coming out here, and then he's got this long sort of elongated neck, or I can have it more upright so that his beak is here. I can maybe make it more bowie, like, I don't know, that, and make his beak up in the air. So however I want to do it, because I've got that wire in there, I can actually form that to any shape that I like. So I would just keep building my alfoil around there, and then I would tape it all. I would get my little styrofoam balls and add those on with a toothpick before I put too much alfoil over the top of this one. And then that's what gave my quirky bird his eyes, was some of those. But like I said before, you can even cut it in half, and that could be your little bunny cheeks, and just form with the alfoil and masking tape. But with the bunny, you're better to actually do all the form pretty much before you join it on. So create his little cheeks, his little nose, and then put a piece over the top and join him onto the bottle. Then make sure that where his neck joins onto the bottle is just nice and secure, and away you go. So whether this is a bunny with ears, or whether it's a bird with quirky beak, that is essentially how we are forming. So it is super, super easy. So that's all I've done with this one, is created the sculptural form using wire masking tape and alfoil. Then he's been simply painted with Powertex Bluish Grey and a little bit of a sprinkle of 3D Flex just to make it thicker. So there you have it. Get forming this week, so that next week when you've got your form all done, you can actually follow along and create a little face for your bunny or your quirky bird. All right, guys, have a wonderful week. And of course, if you do need any information about Powertex, you can go to the Powertex website. There's loads of free videos on the YouTube channel, Powertex Australia YouTube channel, and yeah, just so much content everywhere. So of course on Facebook as well, under videos on the Powertex Australia Facebook page, you'll find loads and loads and loads and loads of Friday lives from 2 years of lives with me. So have a wonderful week. And yes, Natalie's just saying that she's got a new venue in Queensland. So Natalie will have to have a sneaky peek of that at some stage. And I am going away for a couple of weeks, and Natalie's going to be running the lives while I'm away. So I'm sure that while I'm away, she can do a little bit of a scroll around her new space, which is just absolutely awesome. So Natalie, did you just want to drop in the comments where that is located for people who aren't in Queensland? I know you're not open yet, but I'm sure that they will be really excited to come and have a look once you are. So have a wonderful week, everyone. And so Natalie's just saying she'll be posting all about it next week. We look forward to that, Nat. And take care. Have a wonderful creative weekend, everyone. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Ciao.